Even though one is still young, I still yet venture my life through questioning, to my own doing and reflection upon not only my own spiritual understanding and to humanity's evolution, to today's time period of 2018. Although who truly knows what that year could truly be, but I hope we predict positive to it being the date that we exist upon. Our technology in advance to robotic development and overall computer generated, we so believe that it has been of great help to our human development with treatment to disease and productivity, as well as the creation of music, which of course is positive and negative in polarity, but also the binaurals and the isotronic beats and tones, the brainwave altering states of music for various benefit. I don't completely feel that the advance of technology has been of great help to our human evolution, as nature is our only harmonic, not technology. I've seen that we live in a time of great distraction to the field of being, conscious awareness, also known pure consciousness, also known Christ consciousness, also known lowercase g, God consciousness, meaning behind enlightenment, Satori, Buddha, Hood, with a lack of silence and great noise instead, with the days in which we live in, not only stressing the nervous system with the EMFs of Wi-Fi, etc., and the staring of the light in phones, the artificial light, and so I quickly want to note that technology is quite addictive in its nature for us, a drug, as you could call it, from the entertainment purposes of social media to the porno being so easily accessed that man and women lose the disconnect from our natural states of being through only allowing energy to be identified in the three lower chakras instead of the higher three, and the higher above that, meridians, energy centers, wheels of light, to allow the sacred fluid to send up to the spine, to the chrism, the seat of the part of the brain that nourishes and expands the pineal, the pituitary, serotonin, melatonin, to allow the light of God to enter into becoming one and not two, to be and be whole. I learn from those that are intellectual and enlightened and awakened from the illusion of the unconscious, but ever more conscious in the field of presence they are to the truth and wisdom, allowing and knowing the truth and wisdom to come through into the present moment, allowing the process of the questions to be answered or not answered from the spatial field of collective consciousness, knowing. I notice that life has a force of duality. For example, life, death, sun, moon, left, right, good, bad, light, dark, etc. In the East, this is symbolized as the yin-yang, male or female. The yin-yang describes how seemingly opposite or contrary forces may actually be how they could actually be complementary, but they are actually interconnected and independent in the natural world, and how they may give rise to each other as they interrelate to one another. Now, speaking of this, there's a natural force perceived, meaning that there is a masculine and a feminine part, dual aspects towards the self, who we actually are. Now, coming back to the yin. As such, the saying "as above, so below," the phrase from the beginning of the Emerald Tablet by Hermes Trismegistus in Hermeticism, explaining also that everything is interconnected, as well as the quote, "as within, so without," as so the universe, so the soul, with which is the principle of correspondence. Hermes Trismegistus. Now, paraphrasing, quoting, that I want to also say this as a philosophical, opinionated saying, in that we are yet the universe, as the U is still a U spelled Y-O-U, but it's with a universe within. We have our own solar system, our own way of expression from the manifestation, from the source, from the nothingness, and then we express that in our identity, how we present ourselves, who we are, who we may be, without collective conditioning from the outside world to be who you truly are, the higher self. Magic is the power of belief in the imagination. Man creates his or her reality, perception. Thoughts become things. What is believed is achieved. Manifestation is the cause and effect of how the mind is programmed into how things may be in your life. Technology, again, as accessible as it is, as a distraction from ourselves, as entertainment purposes, as we lose connection from above, from the present moment, with it being ever existing, is the only reality, since past and future is only a fragment of our perception, mental perception, as it is being only identification between either the past and the future. We are pure awareness, consciousness, and not the self. The persona is the character at which we choose to play as being. It as a genetic makeup of our ancestors, from the DNA, from your parents' parents. However, we can change and alter our DNA, as recent science shows and proves, through breath work, etc. The archaic revival is the distinction between a better world in which we live in, community, enveloping peace, love, happiness, and a connection back towards Mother Earth, Mother Nature, for the humanity's working forces with nature, not against it. Advancing our technology, that if we can, in a more egocentric way that doesn't give off positive ions, but of that of the negative, such as orgonite or orgone energy, G, etc., that makes human interventions more positive for the human body instead of the negative frequencies that aren't conducive for the health, for our body's natural balance and wellness. As for nature being a mirror of our nature, Mother Earth is a reflection of the human body's nature. Humans merely reflect the same attributes to the natural world. We are our own universe planet, orbiting on our own axes, projecting our own radiation. Frequencies, whether higher or lower vibrations, subtly our energy body can be on a level of balance between light and dark, good or bad, loving as a high frequency, hateful on the low frequency. Crystals and gemstones may be of benefit for the clearing, the amplification, the energy modality attribute that the main crystal holds. Now I want to talk about an archetype yet again, as previously discussed, the Archaic Revival. I know not that of much of Terence McKenna's teachings, yet I continue to read more material as of bought. This is up and I just want to add my spin on it. So, I see that in today's year, 2018, coming up now 2019, from today's date, within the next coming month, I see that we as a species have the most that we have been the most destructive beings on this planet within our own power and greed, egotism, have cut down rainforests, destroyed and killed many species of animals and ecosystems, habitats overall, and we nearly have reaped the land drier and drier, making it even more desolate within the possibility of us even being here within the next 100 years. It will become possibly be habitable. Sorry for that. Even for us, for the future, is uncertain. But for us to be able to continue a life on Earth, we must change rapidly towards being people that belong to the land. Not that people own the land, or that the way we've been living for time has been that the land belongs to the people. So we must be people that belong to the land, that we become guardians, we become godly figures within a certain vibration of living to the righteousness of who we are. Amen. And I speak to this for the greater good of all concerned, that we arise within a ritualistic way of living in a means of peace, love, reflection, to not be disconnected, but to be reconnected as one. We're all God's children. We are gods in our own nature, coming back to who we truly are. But it's not to be caught up in it all, to let go, to be like water, as Bruce Lee mentioned.